Broke at the end there. What was that?
Something broke.
That was a white. What was that?
Yeah, what did you do?
I don't know. Something fishy's going on here. Is this still working? I don't know what's happening.
Drink up.
I got a new keyboard today, and I'm not sure I like it. This is the upgraded Logitech keyboard, and I got it for a number of reasons, but all the keys feel amazing except for the volume keys, which are totally different, and they make this noise. And it's the button I hit most while we're doing the show. So I'm like, maybe I should return this and go back to the old one. I don't know. Well, today is the day that I will become Lee 3PO. We'll save it for the end of the show. Patrick found edible, let's just read this, Color Mist Shimmering Food Color Spray.
You know what the official color is?
What? Gold Dorado.
Gold Dorado, just like Dorado with the Tesla.
What the gold car I destroyed.
Yeah, so I ordered edible gold
Leaf?
sheets. Yeah, gold leaf sheets. And I ordered them from like this chick in Florida, I believe. And she's like, it won't be there till July 1st. I'm like, what's going on? She says, oh, because the coronavirus, everything's running slow. And I'm like, no, if you just send it USPS, we'll get it in like 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, maybe less.
Yeah, and I ordered it, I think, last Saturday, whenever this whole thing started. So it's going to have to be edible spray.
All right, well, we're going to do this last. Obviously, it's going to be an absolute disaster. I've got a trash bag I'm going to put on my head. It's going to be a disaster. But today will be a relatively short show because we don't have that many videos. And all my videos, for the most part, have to do with coronavirus.
Wait, are we done with the rioting?
I don't know. I just didn't find anything that interesting.
Did you do something to your eye? Your right eye is like super red.
Really?
Yeah, it's freaking me out a little bit.
Well, it's interesting that you say that.
Uh-oh.
Because Katie, I just called Katie and I was like, have you heard this? And she was like, yeah, I told you this 2 months ago. But do you remember when I got super sick with what I believe was coronavirus in January? And I ended up feeling a little bit better and I moved to my house because the people moved out.
Yep.
And Katie's family was going to come down and visit. And I still didn't feel great. But I went to go see a doctor because Katie's mother's older and stuff. We didn't want to give her anything. And I had pink eye at the time. Well, pink eye is now a symptom of coronavirus. Have you heard this?
No.
Let's just go ahead and watch this video. And this guy talks about eye protection, which you will love.
Yeah, I had my mask on today at Walmart.
Tell us about the COVID symptom of pink eye. What's the latest on that?
So some people with COVID can get pink eye, but for the vast majority of people, when their eyes become red or irritated, typically they'll have other things such as an allergy and not COVID. If people have pink eye in the context of a fever or shortness of breath, maybe I'm a bit more worried about them having COVID-related pink eye. But for most people whose eyes are puffy, itchy, red, scratchy, it's something else besides COVID, especially if they don't have any other symptoms in their body.
Okay, that's really good to know. And we've heard Dr. Jen actually talk about this. Lancet recently publishing a review that talked about eye protection as effective in lowering the risk of catching the coronavirus. Do any type of glasses work, or do you think the wraparound glasses are necessary at this point?
So it's a great question. This study specifically looked at the use of eye protection in healthcare settings. And for healthcare workers, there does seem to be an advantage of goggles. And it seems like goggles are potentially better than regular glasses like I'm wearing for people who are taking care of patients. But for most people as they go about their daily lives, the American Academy of Ophthalmology does not have a recommendation for regular people out in a walk to wear eye protection for this reason.
And what about visits for eye exams?
So that's really not a very satisfying answer. But
I mean, my dad's been saying since this began, you know you can contract the virus through your eye mucous membranes.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's walking around with goggles, obviously, when he's practicing dentistry, but that's why he gave me the face shield. He was like, you should wear that because then it protects your eyes and you should be good.
Zach says, Patrick, spray Lee earlier so there's more footage for people to make GIF memes from this.
What does that mean? Spray you earlier?
With, like, before the trash bag. I think potentially I need to spray myself in the trash bag.
And then I retouch it?
Yeah, and then I'll have, you know, you could do like close sprays. My biggest fear is getting sticky golden sugar all over this place and not being able to get it up, you know?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm trying to stay away from here. Let's see.
OW says we are looking extra handsome tonight. I feel like a total slob. I'm like in running shorts. I just got out of the pool. I'm wearing like the worst shirt ever.
Great hairdo on the side over here.
Yeah, I had a hat on. I had like the Ace Ventura hair, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta get rid of that.
I'm feeling better today than yesterday because the wind was blowing. I had an epic kiteboarding session today, so once I have like a good kiteboarding session, and I really don't care how the rest of the day goes.
Did you take a hit to the water? I mean, is that something that could have happened?
I'm sure. I fell many times, so maybe I got salt water in my eye. I don't know. Let's look at this China outbreak. This is interesting. China has started to blame potentially Italy,
yeah,
for importing the virus back in.
Oh boy, I haven't heard this.
Outbreak. It is under investigation, but the genome sequencing suggests that the strain is of a European direction. That's what the official said, and that the preliminary judgment is that it came from overseas. State media has been quoting a very top market official as saying that the virus was detected on a chopping board at the market that had imported salmon. The impact of that was swift. The stores here, as well as delivery apps, stopped selling salmon, and today suppliers in Europe said that the market for imported fish in China is now closed for them. So there's definitely been a very strong impact, but China would be thinking about its own economic impact of this cluster. The May data for the economy came out, and even though it showed that there's a recovery, it just wasn't a very strong recovery, guys.
So they go on to start saying, how does this even make sense? We are all under the impression that if the virus is on something, it cannot survive for days. They're saying it's on like cutting boards or something. And this woman was like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It seems like they're just playing this blame game. So
that's the same. I got another China video, and the part I didn't record goes on to say that they think it's from a chopping block in Beijing's largest market. And the epidemiologist just kind of says more than likely it has nothing to do with salmon, and it was from the person doing the chopping. But it's so weird that they're now, I mean, this guy was saying they've canceled all salmon from
imported salmon.
Imported salmon, you
I think maybe all imported fish, something crazy.
That's a big part of their cuisine, and they already have issues with like pig and stuff. I think swine is on the decline because they had that swine flu that killed a lot of the pigs. So it's not going to be good for China in terms of feeding their people.
Well, we got one more China video here.
We start in Beijing, where authorities are racing to contain a coronavirus outbreak linked to Asia's biggest wholesale market. All entertainment and indoor sports venues are being closed, and 21 housing estates have been locked down as cases increase. The city had previously seen no signs of the virus for more than 50 days. The outbreak is focused on the sprawling Xinfa market, where more than 10,000 people work. It supplies a massive 80% of Beijing's fresh produce, including meat, seafood and vegetables, which come from within China and overseas. Spanning an area nearly the size of 160 football pitches, the market is 20 times larger than the Wuhan market, where it spread from late last year. More cases have also been reported at a second market, Yuchu and Dongcai, several kilometers away. Our China correspondent Stephen McDonald reports.
Residents in large parts of southwestern Beijing are again behind fences, with fears that a second wave of the coronavirus could take hold. Housing estates have been sealed off to all but those who live there. Deliveries must be made to the perimeter fence only. Shops, schools and some public transport have been closed.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. I came to Beijing on the 13th. If this was one day later, then I definitely wouldn't be able to come. Right now, there aren't many people on the subway. There aren't as many as before.
In Beijing today, dozens of new confirmed coronavirus infections have been added to the tally, which has been growing since the end of last week. It may not sound like many, but it's caused quite some concern, especially when you consider from where the cluster has emanated. A massive Xinfadi wholesale market, responsible for 80% of the city's vegetables and meat, has been shut for cleaning and testing. All the infections in this cluster have been traced back to the market in some way. Chinese officials say they're hoping to test up to 200,000 people who visited Xinfadi in the last 2 weeks, as well as 90,000 residents. In the response to Beijing's cluster,
Dude, how long are these clips, Patrick?
2 minutes.
It's too long. This is YouTube. People don't have this type of...
2 minutes to
I
watch.
can't even pay attention to this. Should we continue? Does this guy have something important to say?
He closes it out.
Does he just reiterate the same stuff?
I like reiteration.
the
You always
best
hate
and worst of
reiteration.
China's Communist Party. On the one hand, the speed and the scale of the social isolation of the testing has been something to behold. On the other, the party's also been criticised for going after scapegoats, for dismissing local officials on whose watch the outbreak occurred. If you wanted to guarantee a culture whereby cover-up was your first choice rather than open reporting, there's probably not a better way to do it.
All right.
So they're covering up, and they're also doing a lot of testing.
Great. I'm glad I heard that. Something that's completely irrelevant to anything that we've been talking about happened today.
Irrelevant.
It's not on topic with any of this, but
Yeah.
I said we should talk about this today. I recently did a video that'll probably go live tomorrow. Let me just read this super chat real quick. Stuart says, Lee and Patrick, last night you both indicated you were over the bad news, close to a breakdown, etc. I challenge you to do a good news only episode, no corona and no protest unless it's good. It's not a bad idea. Could be something different to a different goal to have, you know?
I mean, we do have a big photo shoot set up tomorrow. Maybe we could take little clips of us having a good time.
I mean, that's not really good news, but...
Just good news like the guy from The Office does.
Yeah, just good news around the world or whatever. But I don't know. We'll think about it. But anyway, I filmed a video a day or two ago, and it'll probably go live tomorrow. But I did 2 self-portraits of myself with this wacky light I bought. And, you know, when I take a picture of myself and I get to cull the images, I would think that I would choose the best-looking image of myself.
One would think.
One would think. So I haven't released the video yet, but I updated my profile picture on Facebook. And it's been getting mixed reviews.
Yeah.
What are you laughing about
Just,
so hard right now? Is this fun for you?
Yeah, it is a little fun. Yeah. Anytime you fail at taking a photograph, it's...
I just don't feel like it's that bad of a photo, but your dad said something like, I look like I have hemorrhoids.
Okay.
I showed it to my wife, who's always very nice and loves me and the way I look, and she was like, that looks horrible. And so...
Last night, did you change it last night, I believe?
No, I think it was today.
Today. Did I go somewhere then today? I was with, maybe with Walmart. Kristen said, oh, Lee's got a new profile picture.
Yeah.
She was like, man, he looks really old in it.
So I did try to purposefully like bring out freckles and stuff. I made it kind of crunchy looking, like we say, you know, high contrast.
Oldify
maybe.
Look.
But I thought we could go through my older profile picture that Peter Hurley took of me, and then the 2 profile pictures that I recently took, and I want everyone's opinion in the live chat on how good or horrific these are. So this is the shot that I've been using for the last couple of years. This is a picture that Peter Hurley took. I think it's okay. I don't think my expression is great. I think it doesn't really look like I'm smiling. It's kind of got a snarl or something.
Yeah, if you cover your mouth like Peter likes to do, your eyes look pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
Although when I do that, I think your ears look a little crazy.
That's just the way they look.
Yeah,
I can't do anything about that.
But then when I look at your mouth, it's like you've never been more bored.
Yeah, so I've always felt like, it's a pretty good image of baldly, but it's like I could certainly do better, right?
Yeah.
So for the first time ever, I took a couple of portraits of myself.
First time ever.
So, well, since then.
This isn't the one, is it? That's not the one you picked, but it has a look as if it is. So I'm thinking this is it.
Now you're just acting for the camera. You know damn well the picture that
I think I've only seen it in a circle, so I haven't seen your arms and stuff.
Yeah, so like this is obviously a wide shot. You know, like I have something more like this.
It's like you got Bell's palsy or something. Your left side of your eye. Just
I agree. This eye looks a little larger than this side. I agree. There's something weird going on there. But Katie's like, oh my gosh, look at your mouth. You're not even smiling. And I'm like, but the other picture, I'm smiling less. And she's like, no. You look way better in this one. And I'm like, what? I'm not saying I look great in this one. I'm just saying
it's like you've added the Oldify app. I mean, go back. You look like a child. Like, look. It's like the 20-year-old Lee, and then you go here, and it's like the 50-year-old Lee, who's like used the Just for Men on his beard.
What? I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. And so I took one other photo with like a ring light and a hat on. So here's that one. What do you think of that picture?
I mean, that definitely looks better to me.
So out of
your nose looks like, did you shoot these super wide angle or something?
Yeah.
Like your nose looks a little crazy in this one, but like your eyes look the same, and you don't look like you're holding in a fart or something.
So this looks like I'm holding in a fart.
Well, my dad said it looks like you've hemorrhoids.
I don't even know what that means.
Katie's like, why are you pushing on your leg? And I was like, yeah, that's what you do on the toilet when you have to lift one cheek higher. Like, you might as well just put the...
So rank these three photos, guys. Which one is best, middle, and worst? This is number 1, 2, and 3 here.
Somebody says pedophilia vibes with the hat.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. Have I just become so hideous with the loss of my hair? Or...
You're just a horrible photographer.
Yeah, I'm a horrible photographer, or I literally don't know what I look like to other people.
Oh, no, Kyra, no.
Somebody's saying she likes it.
She says mad hot. Yeah. Mad hot.
Absolutely.
Mad cow.
Yeah.
You've lost your mind. 132, 123, 132. Everyone seems to like 1 the best.
Look,
That's
there's
Peter's.
one guy right there. Kangaroo just said he likes 2 the best. Look, there's another Joshua likes 2 the best.
Why the duck lips on 3?
That's just what my lips look like. There's a few people. Look, Matt says 2 is the best.
You know what I like is when I take a portrait of somebody and they continue to use it as their profile picture years later. I see Keith Bradshaw's in here. And Keith is still to this day using... I did one where it was like an editorial spread.
Well, you know, it's pretty rare that professional photographers get professional images of them taken, you know? So when you get a good picture of yourself, you'll probably use it for a while just because you won't ever have another picture of yourself taken for years. Leonessa says, sorry, Lee, number 2 is a ranked number 2 image. And then she did the poopy emoji. Ulysses says, Lee is going to look like Xerxes from the movie 300 when the prophet dips him in gold. I don't even remember that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're about to get dipped in gold by the prophet.
All right. Should we get...
So you're about to release a video on how to make...
how
to replicate that
I didn't realize that these images were so bad. I mean, people are going to destroy the YouTube video if these photos are so bad.
Did you, tonight, after that conversation, go back through them to see if there was a better one? Or those are just the 2 best ones you...
I mean, I would be interested to get Katie to look through the images that I've taken and see if she can find ones that she likes better. See, Mini Bun's definitely number 2. So I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe. Let's get back to coronavirus here.
All right, we've got some breaking news here at CBS that we want to share with you. A stunning victory for LGBTQ rights all across this country. The Supreme Court has ruled that the landmark civil rights law, the 1964 Civil Rights Act, protects gay and transgender workers from workplace discrimination, which, as I say, is a huge, huge victory for the movement. The vote was 6-3, with Justice Neil Gorsuch writing the majority opinion. He was joined in that decision by the Chief Justice, John Roberts, Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Stephen Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elizabeth Elena Kagan. Again, this concerned the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which does bar discrimination based on race, religion, national origin, and sex. And the question for the justices was whether or not the last prohibition, the one because of sex, applies to millions of gay and transgender workers. They have just ruled that it does. So we're going to break that down much later on in the show, but that is the news out of the Supreme Court. Yes.
I just want to sort of clarify, because I think a lot of people might be shocked that the Supreme Court was listening to a case like this, that this is about federal protections for people in this category, that in fact, federal protections are not in place now. So depending on the state that you're in, it may be against the law to discriminate against you because of sexual orientation, but it's not the same across the board. So this would have sort of a singular rule for everyone in this country.
That's right, exactly.
I heard about this.
This was a huge news story today. What are your thoughts on this?
I just assumed that it already was illegal to discriminate. I'm not exactly sure what the details are.
Well, that's kind of what she made it sound like, is it still might have already been illegal to discriminate in each state, but now it's federally illegal to discriminate? Okay. But it seems strange. They seem to be picking on the sex part of a law that was passed like 50 or 60 years ago. And I just think, like, if you weren't able to discriminate on biologic sex, would that suddenly now change because you've decided to change your sex in some way?
Well, the thing that I could see being, I always try to think when I hear about these laws, I'm like, who's really getting discriminated against because of their gender or their sexual orientation? You know, like I try to play these scenarios in my mind of like, okay, how could somebody have the job and then all of a sudden be fired because they're a female, or all of a sudden be fired because they're gay? Maybe you could have like a homophobic boss who didn't know you were gay and now it's revealed that you were gay.
Or like a manager changes and they bring in a new manager.
Okay. All right.
I think the biggest one, I don't know the answer to this, is the discrimination before you get the job.
Right.
And I don't know if I'm going to say this, but like there's times where I kind of feel like as a homeowner renting to people, there's times where I might want to discriminate. I might want to discriminate against college kids because I know college kids typically will destroy and throw parties at your house. Destroy your house, throw parties and stuff. Airbnb just sent out an email today, and it said that they were working with activist groups to try to make discrimination less prevalent on their platform. And it sounds like what Airbnb is about to do is remove and hide people's profile pictures and their names, because in many cases their name, you can tell their gender, maybe you can tell their race. And I don't know, like, it's a slippery slope, and I know a lot of people are like, how dare you, Patrick, say you like to discriminate? But it's like, if I could rent to a young couple who were married with no kids, maybe I would prefer that than another married couple that has 5 kids.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I don't want to rent to 3 college kids, but I would rent to 1 grad school kid. You know, like, I don't know that I would ever discriminate against guys and girls, but maybe I would. Maybe I would say I'd rather have females renting my house than a bunch of dudes.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, on one hand, I kind of feel like for things like that, like my home, I kind of want to believe that I should have the right to decide who I want to rent to, but I see where that now creates a problem, but I don't know.
I think like everything, I think there's a way for you to discriminate. You just cannot say like, hey man,
but isn't that what
I'm
these
not
laws
going to let 8 of your 18-year-old buddies rent my house even if you can afford the rent. I'm not doing it. I'm going to rent it to families only. You're not allowed to say that. You can just say it's already been rented.
I know, but I think that's what these laws are about, is saying like you show up to the job and you don't get the job and then suddenly somebody less qualified gets the job. When you're discriminated before the event happens, how do you ever know? Like if I say my house is already rented and then they see that it's still on the market and they know that it's not rented, they know then that they've been discriminated against, right? The house isn't rented. There's still a rent sign up there. A for sale. Who cares about for selling? I'll sell my house to anybody, but
yeah, you could just, as the homeowner, you could just always keep saying like, yeah, somebody else says they're going to take it. I don't know.
It's a weird thing to have to deal with, you know, like.
Well, I remember when you were renting your house, we didn't even know this was a problem, but you wrote something in the listing like right next to MUSC would be great for medical students. And somebody was like, I'm turning you in to the police or something for
discriminating against like trying to get medical students to rent my house.
Yeah, that it's illegal to put that in the post that it would be good for medical students or something. I don't know.
But then like I had a lady who started texting me through Airbnb, and she was saying crazy stuff. Like, do you know when you can tell that you have a crazy person you're dealing with?
Yes.
Like,
Seconds.
How many times did you ever discriminate when you shot weddings? Did you ever meet with a bride and groom and be like, this bitch be cray? And I do not want to be, like, I don't want her as a client.
Yeah.
That's illegal, though. You're not allowed to discriminate based on bitch be cray. You can't.
You really? I can't say, like, I don't want to do the job for them?
I mean, where's that line where you say, as the owner, because you also see, like, stores and stuff say, like, we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Is that illegal? I never know where these lines are. Like, on one hand, I want to say we should not be discriminating against things you can't help. You know, if you can't help your gender or your race or something. But on the other hand, I'm like, I do feel like you should be able to choose who you want to rent your house or what clients you do want to take on if it's going to be a pain in the ass for you.
Yeah.
But this is kind of where we got in that realm of like, weren't there bakers that didn't want to bake cakes for people that were
gay,
same-sex marriages and stuff, and they said it was because of their religion. I don't know. It's a very slippery, weird slope that I never can navigate and figure out how to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
But I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, oh boy, what is this? Supreme Court ruled on something. And then I was like, I just always thought that was already the law. That was already the case.
Yeah, usually when I was shooting weddings, people would call me, and within seconds, you could just tell somebody was a low-class person, and you could tell within seconds that they weren't going to be able to afford you. Except for one time. One time, this girl called, and she sounded not very intelligent on the phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you can see my prices here or whatever, thinking, and maybe she was like, send me a contract. And I was like, fine. And I knew for a fact she would not sign the contract and I'd never hear from her again, but I'm like, fine. So I sent her the contract, and sure enough, a week later, I get that contract back with $3,000 or something deposit.
You booked it.
And I was like, how in the hell did this girl come up with this money? And I end up going to the wedding, and her and her husband, fiance or something, were meth heads.
Is this the meth head wedding?
Yeah.
You knew from the beginning.
What do you mean? I didn't know they were on meth.
No, but you knew something was off with the client.
Oh yeah, you could just tell talking to her on the phone. She was saying the dumbest stuff. And she was adopted by the nicest couple who paid for the wedding.
Yeah.
And
that's like one of the greatest wedding stories ever.
Yeah, it gets much worse than this, but I probably shouldn't tell this story live on.
You can discriminate based on price, though. You can set your prices to where no one can afford it. I mean, that's just like market value, right?
Could you change the price?
I don't think you can change the price. Maybe that's not discrimination, but it is something like that.
Yeah.
You know, Lamborghini is discriminating based on price. They're not changing the price, but they're saying only people with a lot of money are able to buy our cars.
I don't think that's discrimination. That's just setting a high price.
You don't think that's a form of discrimination?
No, they don't care who buys it. Anybody can buy it. You just got to have the money.
Yeah.
Actually, have you seen this YouTuber, Mr. Beast? I think he's the most popular YouTuber.
His channel's crazy.
He dressed up like a homeless man and was like, I'm going to walk into a Lamborghini dealership and act like I'm homeless and then just buy the first car I see. And he was like, everyone was super respectful of me. And like, they never treated me bad. I was expecting to like teach them a lesson, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, they showed me and let me sit in the car and everything. And I paid cash for it right there. So, who knows?
It's a slippery slope.
Let's see what's next here. Trump's doing this rally. Have you heard about this? I think it's this Saturday.
This is on like Juneteenth.
Okay.
He was supposed to have, you hear all the backstory? Or is that what this video is about?
There's not much backstory here.
He was supposed to do this big rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is the city just outside of this famous town. It was like called Black Wall Street, where African Americans, when they were freed, had started this like town, and they became very successful, and it was like the upper rich class.
Oh, I've heard about this.
And then there was one of these incidences where a white woman claimed that somebody did something to her, and all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but they started having these protests and these riots, and then somebody shot, and it was a question of who shot first. I think history says it's the white people that shot first. And then next thing you know, there's a full-blown riot. National Guard comes in. I think they burn and destroy the entire city. It doesn't exist anymore. And so everyone that did survive moved basically to Tulsa, I believe. I hope I'm not getting the story wrong. And so they were saying that Trump was on the day of that anniversary of that event, was going to go to Tulsa and do like a big rally. And so a lot of people felt like that was not respectful because of the climate we're in, but then also people think Trump's a racist and he wants to suppress black people, so for him to do it there, it was like a racist thing. I don't know, there's all this like outside stuff kind of, I don't know if I could ever draw the line and say that was racist, but apparently a lot of people said like, you should just not do it, and shockingly, Trump backed down and said, today or yesterday, he said, I'm going to change the location.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, this might have been happening today. I think he's like now changing the location.
Well, tell me if this video is even relevant, because this is more about how dangerous this is going to be from a virus standpoint.
Okay.
President Trump is rejecting concerns that his upcoming campaign rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Saturday will expose his supporters to COVID-19. The president's also trying to...
So, I mean, this is Tulsa.
Okay.
So you're saying that this was changed?
I'm pretty sure it's changed, but maybe it's like in the last 12 to 24 hours.
Somebody super chat asked the truth.
Stop the release of John Bolton's upcoming book. His former national security advisor is expected to level harsh criticism at the president. CBS's Ben Tracy reports tonight from the White House.
Despite the recent spike in coronavirus cases, President Trump says he won't be shamed into canceling his campaign rallies and is still planning to pack an arena in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Saturday. He claims 1 million people have requested tickets.
It's an amazing, nobody's ever heard of numbers like this. I think we're going to have a great time.
But with infections on the rise in Tulsa, the head of the city's health department calls the rally dangerous and wants the president to postpone it.
If you really want to stay safe, we recommend not to go and put yourself in an enclosed space.
The Trump campaign says it will do temperature checks and provide hand sanitizer. Masks will be handed out, but they won't be mandatory.
So there will be masks available, but they won't be mandatory, which is kind of strange, but also expected. How many of these people do you think are going to be wearing masks?
None. I mean, that's the thing. I'm watching these videos from China, and I'm trying to count anybody without a mask.
Yeah.
I think I saw one construction worker with the mask down, and maybe I saw one guy that didn't have a mask. Everyone in those videos in China has a mask on. And then you go to Orange County, which I didn't realize in those videos that they're a very conservative area in California, and they're up there in front of the city meetings saying all this craziness, you know? And I'm like, oh, they are the conservatives. None of them have masks. They all think it's a hoax. Little Johnny just has his uniform on. He just wants to go out and kick some balls with some other kids. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I don't think anyone there is going to have it. Wear the mask. Apparently, people are saying that the location wasn't changed, but the date has now been moved from Juneteenth. I don't even know when that is. Is that the 17th? June 17th?
I don't know.
To Saturday. So maybe that is...
So it is accurate.
Yeah. Juneteenth is the 19th. So they moved it to the next day, the 20th.
Okay. Christine says, maybe you can do a live stream on the photo channel to talk about... This is supposed to be a photo channel, by the way, but we're just not there yet. And talk about how things have affected all of us photographers and what we are doing to survive, reinvent, not become drunks, barring this show, of course. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we do need to get back to the basics and do some photography-related content. And if it's live, we'll probably continue doing it on this channel for a while, just to build up this channel and not destroy our other channel. But yeah.
People are also saying that Patrick's got that story way wrong. It wasn't riots. They literally sent in airplanes and bombed the city. I thought something would have led to like some riots first, right? And then they came in? Or did they just have a white woman accuse a black man and then suddenly America comes in and bombs a city? Like,
I got to look into that. I mean, that sounds so crazy. I saw a video recently where somebody was talking about bombing black cities, and I was like, what? I heard about a fire, but I didn't hear about bombing. So I definitely need to do my research on that.
powerful picture of a black protester carrying a white man to safety is going viral on social media at the moment. This all happened during clashes on Saturday between Black Lives Matter demonstrators and far-right groups in London. Patrick Hutchinson says he picked the man up after noticing he was injured and carried him to police nearby to keep him safe. For more on this pretty unforgettable image, I'm joined by CNN's Salma Abdulaziz at London's Waterloo Station, where these clashes broke out on Saturday. Really is an amazing image. Tell us more about the man and his motives.
That's exactly right, Michael. And those steps just behind me there is actually where this whole scene unfolded. There were right-wing demonstrators clashing with supporters of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, the Black Lives Matter movement had actually canceled demonstrations for the weekend, but Patrick Hutchinson says he knew that there would be young supporters of the movement that would come out, that they could potentially get into trouble, and that he wanted to act as a peacekeeper. Take a look at our interview.
Is this you in the photograph?
Yes, that is me in that photograph.
Can you describe to me what's happening in this picture?
My friends and I sort of put a cordon around this man. He was sort of on the stairs, lying in the fetal position, with, you know, anything was about to happen to him. The first time I saw him was when I sort of climbed underneath him to go and pick him up.
And you could have looked at this man and thought, he is my enemy. Why did you choose to help him?
There was a particular thought that I had that, you know, you have to show some sort of, you know, love for your fellow man, okay, regardless, because I was saying that if the other 3 officers that were present when George Floyd was unfortunately murdered, if they, just one of them had stepped in and stopped, you know, their fellow officer from doing what he did, he'd be alive today.
So I guess that's kind of good happy story, maybe. But the thing I was just shocked is how widespread this is. And it also kind of is a weird narrative, because I just feel like here in America, so many people say our country was built on racism, and African Americans were enslaved here. And I've always said, well, that's a story throughout a lot of the world. I mean, I think I read an article 3 or 4 years ago saying the trade slave in South America and even other parts of the world 200 years ago was as great or greater than the slave trade in America. It doesn't justify it, but it just reminds you that the slave trade wasn't unique to colonial United States only, you know? And there in London, I mean, they're having the same protest. They also have similar right-wing groups, perhaps, you know. I don't know if their right-wing groups are different than ours, but all of this is the same. It's like every country around the world is dealing with the same sort of stuff, and I just think it's kind of interesting to like broaden it a little bit, because as Americans, we sometimes just feel like we're only looking through the lens of you know, of the United States.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what happened there. That guy was he a white supremacist?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. They didn't tell you what he was, but he was with a right-wing movement.
Okay, and then how did he get hurt?
They also didn't really say that either, did they?
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of looked like it wasn't that big of a deal, but somehow just pictures rose from the ashes.
I mean,
but it seems like,
you know, that guy's bicep is exploding out as he's got this grown man on it. Like,
yeah.
It's a wild-looking image, but
it didn't feel like the white dude was like getting beat. In fact, it looked like a lot of other white guys were around him, but he fell down and hurt himself. But
I don't know.
I saw this image and then I saw the story about it, and I just thought, well, it seems nice, like civil.
Sure.
They don't have Wendy's though in London, I don't think.
Thank God. They sure wouldn't now. Brad Fogel says, live photo stuff here, highlight reels, main channel. That's the plan for now, at least. So here's a video of Fauci explaining why he said don't wear a mask at first and that we should wear a mask now. Can you guess his reason?
I would imagine the reason is we didn't have enough masks and we needed them for the medical workers.
You think he's going to admit that?
I mean, I thought he already admitted that, no? Isn't that what the narrative is? Is that we wanted to have masks for the hospital workers?
I mean, that is what he says. I don't recall him saying that. Maybe I've forgotten. Did we already play a video of him admitting that? I mean, he's kind of insinuating that, like, yeah, we had to lie because it was better. And people are pissed online because they're like, all you had to say was leave the N95 masks for the hospitals.
And let us wear homemade masks.
Yes,
and all the other masks.
All Americans should wear homemade masks. Do not buy medical masks. And
I agree.
That would have slowed the spread.
So the blood is on Fauci's watch.
Yeah. The blood is on
Because
his
what
mask.
about a month or so, or 2 or 3 ago, when
What is happening?
Did we say something that sounds like Hey Siri?
I thought I had that turned off because I never liked that happening.
people were saying, you don't really need to wear a mask. Well, the reason for that is that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people
Bert, did you get that? He was like, people were saying. He didn't say, I said many times.
Yeah.
You don't need to wear a mask.
were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including the N95 masks and the surgical masks, were in very short supply. And we wanted to make sure that the people, namely the healthcare workers, who were brave enough to put themselves in harm's way to take care of people who you know were infected with the coronavirus and the danger of them getting infected, we did not want them to be without the equipment that they needed. So there was not enthusiasm about going out and everybody buying a mask or getting a mask. We were afraid that that would deter away from the people who really needed it. Now we have masks. We know that you don't need an N95 if you're a person, ordinary person in the street. We also know that simple cloth coverings that many people have can work as well as a mask in many cases. So right now, unequivocally, the recommendation is when you're out there, particularly if you're in a situation where there's active infection, keep the distance physically and wear a mask. So although there appeared to be some contradiction of you were saying this then and why you're saying this now, actually the circumstances have changed. That's the reason why.
Unequivocally. Some strong words to be using when it feels like we're changing our thoughts every few weeks. I mean, it wasn't long ago that people were saying cloth masks weren't good enough. There were all those memes showing like what kind of masks can filter what kind of particles, and maybe the argument is that it's not for you breathing in the virus, it's for you expelling the virus, and maybe cloth, even though it's very porous, can still hold back a lot of it, but I'm not going to be wearing cloth. Like I wear the, like what did I just get? I got like N85Y or something like that. It's like the one that's kind of pointy. The N95 mask has the actual filter on it, right? It's like a filter on the front, which those go bad after a while. I mean, maybe all masks go bad. Do we have an answer for that yet?
I mean, I thought I read something last night that said the average lifespan of a medical mask is 15 minutes.
I wonder why that is.
Because as they're going from patient to patient, they have to throw them away. It's like they don't want cross-contamination.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. The average life of a medical mask is, but how long is a medical mask effective? I think the N95 masks, they have this filter, and if I remember correctly, it works with some kind of some static, electric static thing, and that mechanism can go bad after 12, 24, 36 hours, whereas other masks that don't have that filter in them, I thought you could just put them in the sun and the UV rays would kill the virus and you could reuse them, but now they're just saying, hey, just use your shirt.
We have one final
video, and then it's mask time.
It's Lee 3PO time.
Our breaking news into SportsCenter. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott testing positive for the coronavirus. That's what his agent told NFL Network today, adding Elliott is feeling better now. Sources also confirming to ESPN that other Cowboys players and Houston Texans players have tested positive for the virus. The state of Texas has seen a recent COVID-19 spike. One player was experiencing flu-like symptoms, but is said to be fine now, while sources say other players who tested positive were asymptomatic. Our Ed Werder joining us now on SportsCenter. Ed, what more can you tell us about this story and how the league is reacting to it?
Well, I think as it's specific to the Cowboys, obviously, I'm not sure they have a more important player on their roster than Ezekiel Elliott. The fortunate thing is that players have not been allowed access to team facilities. You know, it's only been very recently that head coaches and assistant coaches were allowed to begin working in NFL facilities. Players still remain restricted from that. Now, that being said, Elliott, of course, has been photographed, and there's been video of him working out this offseason with quarterback Dak Prescott, with former Cowboys wide receiver Des Bryant, and there were even instances where they were criticized for not maintaining proper social distancing. Whether any of that played a role in Elliott being diagnosed and testing positive is a complete unknown. But I think the bigger issue is the reaction around the league to this development, occurring as it does 52 days before the Cowboys are supposed to open the NFL preseason with the Hall of Fame game against the Steelers. I've talked to 2 head coaches in the league, and both of them really seem to be reluctant to start the season on time. There seems to be motivation among NFL head coaches for the league to push back the start of the season. One coach telling me, how in the hell are you going to bring 90 guys to training camp in a month? You can have all the protocols you want, but eventually you have to play football. What if 10 guys get it? You quarantine the whole team? And then the other coach said, you know, what happens when 4 starting offensive linemen get it? What if it's the quarterback room, 4 of your 6 receivers, the defensive coaching staff? And just really questioning, ultimately, the wisdom of playing during a pandemic.
So it makes you wonder, like, I know you don't care at all about football. Do you know who Ezekiel Elliott is?
He's really good at throwing that pigskin and getting those points in the
He is.
uprights.
I'm just wondering, like, is the NFL going to have a season? Are they going to let people into the stadium? Surely not. But when you really start to think about it, you think, oh, well, playing football can't be that high risk, but they hang out in the locker rooms. They have all these spring trainings. They have all of, you know, the off-season training. What happens when all your quarterbacks get it and you don't have a quarterback to play with? It just gets to this really weird thing where what if your coaches all have it and they have to take off? Like, you could have one of the ugliest seasons ever just because we're playing, just trying to keep it going. But none of the best players, like this happens with the NBA. The best NBA players don't play the whole season. And many of them play the minimum games they have to play. And then when you start getting to the playoffs, finally you start to see real basketball. You don't want to see that with a lot of these sports.
Yeah.
And so I just keep wondering, I mean, did he say 50-something days until the first opening preseason game is about to start?
I didn't get that.
That's not very far from now. I mean, that's what, just over a month? Almost 2 months? I don't know. I keep saying I can't imagine college football coming back. I don't know if we've made a decision yet on college campuses being opened or not.
Yeah. I don't know what to think about that, but thank goodness for Dana White pushing forward. Luckily, you know, mixed martial arts is just one-on-one. Very different than having an entire team of guys traveling and working out with each other day after day. I think it's time. I'm gonna go grab something and stick it in my ears. I don't want to get sugar in my ears.
I don't think I bought this the other day because I was doing some underwater liquid tests and stuff, you know, dropping ink. And I bought one of these thinking I could spray this underwater, and it's very much like, you know, just spray paint. I don't think it's going to be, I didn't taste it, so I don't know if it's sugary. But, yes. Am I doing this, or you're doing it and then I'm touching it up?
Yeah, I'll do it. Now, for anybody who has no idea what the heck is going on, somebody paid $200 in Super Chat 2 or 3 days ago for me to
gold leaf your face.
Gold leaf my head.
Gold leaf.
And we couldn't find gold leaf down here in Puerto Rico, so Patrick went out today and he made it happen.
So people are saying we need to move the DSLR because we can't get the D1H destroyed, and then maybe we need to put this.
I hope that it's not going all over the place.
Yeah, it's better safe than sorry.
Open that one up for me. And as I named this video, this show has officially hit rock bottom.
It has. This isn't worse than waxing my chest, right?
No, that's true.
They're very similar.
That's the most shameful.
They're very similar though.
At least you got paid $1,000 for that.
Are you gonna do like a? You gonna update your profile picture tonight? Or you gonna?
I mean, anything would be better than my current profile picture.
Your wife would probably like you better with gold. So you're gonna go in this. Oh gosh, in today's climate, that is not a good look, Lee. That is not a good look.
What you warned me is what I'm afraid of is that this is going to stick. Like it's going to just become a gooey mess and stick to my head. But I'm a man of my word. Here we go.
I can see it coming back.
Oh my God. I can't breathe.
I think I should get up under there and just spray.
Oh, dude. This is really bad.
Well, don't put it.
It's...
Dude,
it's like poison. What is this made out of?
It's not
I can't breathe.
It's the aerosol. It's not what's in it.
Oh my gosh.
Here, why don't you hold that up behind you, and I'll just I'll fill this in. You high now? This is what all the youngsters do these days.
Dude,
this is behind a locked
That cannot be healthy.
Are you worried about your shirt? Or
No, I don't care
what about
about
the
my
mic?
shirt.
Wrap that
Yeah,
around.
don't get the mic. All right, let me breathe. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Oh my God!
Dude, you are the biggest pansy. You're acting like...
Does it look awesome?
It's getting there. I mean, you got a ways to go, but...
Dude, I'm telling you, man. When you inhale that...
Well, don't breathe through your mouth. Just hold your breath, and we'll do it in spurts.
All right. When I say stop, you got to stop.
All right. All right, man. All right.
Hold on. Let me get a little hyperventilation going on here.
Dude, I should... Oh my gosh. It's like... I mean, you know how you're supposed to spray light coats and then go over once it dries? That's not what I did. It is like running. Oh man, it's like finally you manned up though. What was the last one you had? You had a challenge buffing your head, and we all felt like you didn't really...
It's so hard to breathe. It's like...
Are you acting? You gotta go out. I think there's a bag there if you're gonna puke.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I think we need a fund for Lee's recovery. I don't think... You know what? I bet you... Do you think this kills COVID, or do you think this makes you more susceptible to COVID?
Oh my gosh.
Let me see if this has any warnings. Unfortunately, a lot of this is in Spanish. Shake well, spray, use a 45-degree angle, keep at least 6 inches away. I feel like we did all that. Caution flammable, use only as directed, keep away from heat and open flames. Avoid spraying in eyes. Intentional misuse by deliberately concentrating and inhaling the contents may be harmful or fatal. Keep out of the reach of children.
Dude.
Color mist washes off easily with soap and water, but may...
It says if I inhale it, it's fatal.
It could be.
I'm telling you, dude, that is straight poison.
What happened to your eyelids? You wipe your eyes?
No, I haven't touched my face.
You closed your eyes, though, but your eyes are, like, completely clear.
I mean, I'm literally, like, crying. It's burning my eyes and my lungs.
You have the COVID burn?
It does look pretty awesome,
though. You should just have this be your permanent look. You know what we got to do? All right, so you wrecked the gold Tesla. But you've decided you looked good in gold already.
Yeah.
So.
This is my new look.
So
what
now
is this for?
You're the gold man of Palmas?
I don't know what I am. I don't
It
know.
looks good, though. It looks good.
It does look pretty incredible.
Is there anything you need to say to the people? Do you want another coat?
No.
You want to fix the ears? You got a little bit.
No.
Does it taste sweet?
No, it doesn't taste good at all. You sure this is edible?
I thought it was edible. Was this not the edible one?
Shimmering food color spray.
You look like Gold Dorado, I'll tell you that.
Read these ingredients. How is this for food? Ingredients.
It looks so much better close up. Like when I see that screen, I'm like, they don't really. You got to lose the green, the towel, because I don't think it takes away.
Oh, you got my shirt.
I mean, I told you to wrap that.
Listen to the ingredients of this and tell me what part of this sounds like is edible. Alcohol.
Yep.
Isobutane and propane.
That's what you're breathing. No, that's not edible.
Mica-based pearlescent pigments.
That's delicious.
Titanium dioxide. Hydropropyl cellulose silicone dioxide.
You need the mic.
Oh. That's like all the ingredients.
Yeah.
And then it was colors. Like yellow number 5.
Well, you
How
know,
is that food?
They may not have done the proper experiments. This might be pulled off the market after this. This might be what it took for them to find out that this wasn't quite edible.
Please, someone give $200 so I have to do this to Patrick. Is there enough in here?
No, I used it all.
I can't tell if there's enough in here or not.
No, it's like, see.
I want you to experience inhaling the mica-based pearlescent pigments with titanium dioxide, hydropropyl cellulose silicone dioxide. It's quite a lovely experience.
Should we read the super chats? Looks like we have some back up here that we haven't gotten to.
Oh, yeah, super chats. Oh, no, there's gold on here, too?
I mean, if you weren't flailing around like a idiot, it would have just been all nice and smooth. And
it would just...
I mean, I'm trying to say it's drying now, but you have this like little birthmark of gold on the top of your head. I can't tell if what that is. Is that where you sprayed it first?
I don't know. My nose is
You're
running.
gonna be finding gold all in your bedroom for like, where the gold at?
Has Patrick's chest hair grown back yet?
Yeah, I mean, I had to shave it, but yeah, it's not too bad.
Rick gave $50 for Lee being brave on this craziness. Well, thank you very much. That makes it a little bit more worthwhile to inhale poison for a few minutes. Jeannie Ray says he's yellow like a modern-day Homer Simpson. Mike says Lee looks like the Mustard Man. Don't know what that is. You fools need a fan. Blah, ha, 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 ha. Andrew, $22, thanks. Great job, he says. Zach says, this is state-of-the-art yellow man group.
This is the start.
Leonessa says, sorry, Lee, I feel bad. This was abuse. Kira, Lee, you're a winner. Tristan, now you need to have a photo shoot in the golden Lambo. That's true. I should have done this at that guy's house.
I said that, and you're like, I'm not going all the way there.
Yeah, that's true. And Zach said, this is why I suggested gold foil. Yeah, that would have been a little easier.
I mean, we still can do that. We
We
have gold foil coming.
I'm good.
So
I mean, if people want to give another $200, anything's easy now. If I don't have to inhale poison.
If you like move your skin, do you feel
Oh,
it?
it's so tight.
Yeah, it's like.
Well, so when you told me about this, I thought, oh, it's just like sugary golden color.
Yeah, sweet.
It's straight up spray paint with glitter. I don't know if you guys can see my shirt, but it's like straight up glitter.
No, it doesn't taste good.
You're dead now too. Studio, Lee looks old now. Like he's in his 70, gold boy. Just gave a buck. Oh, Steve Robertson gave $200 for Patrick's gold face.
No, this isn't happening, right?
Here you go, buddy.
I got a chance sitting there, right? You don't want to get it on the backdrop. Is that really what's happening?
That's what's happening.
Oh, son of a bitch. We are supposed to film tomorrow. I'm supposed to go over to Francis's. Really? I liked Steve Robertson. I did at one point. Well. Oh, gosh. Now, here's where we see how big of a pansy you are. Am I going to be all...
Okay.
Maybe I will.
Okay.
Oh, but I have the hair. Is this going to come out of the hair?
Maybe I should put... This would probably be good. Right?
But do I want... I don't really care about this shit. I'm just going to do this right here. Oh, man, really? I was like, we should have closed the show, right?
All right, so, man, I'm seeing glitter all over the ground back there. So you need to put this around you, and then you need to hold up the trash bag behind you.
It's like getting a haircut.
Yeah. These do feel relatively empty. All right, are you ready? So you hyperventilate and get ready.
We should just do this in spurts then.
I mean, I think there's not much left in this. I think I can do it all in one.
Dude, I can't believe this. You were Lee P.O. or whatever.
Lee 3PO is the name. Get it right.
All right. Let's go. That was not any... Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, now you breathe it, don't you? Where are you going, Patrick? Sit down and talk to everyone at home.
Oh.
Patrick, sit down, bro. What's the problem?
Oh, man.
Patrick, come on, just sit down. Have a breath. It's good for you.
I gotta take little breaths. I think the problem is you breathed in really fast.
Yes. As it dries, it gets easier and easier, but I smell it right now.
Oh, my lips are burning.
I know. It's poison.
Why did y'all make us do that? Did they want the last show? Oh, like the corners of my lips are on fire. I can breathe now, though. I can see, yes. If you just breathed in, if you took a deep breath immediately after, I'm not ready to open my eyes. How long did you wait before you...
A long time. I had to go to the bathroom twice, and I was trying to walk away and get a breath of air.
It is interesting to be in your shoes and be over there laughing, and then now I realize what you're going through. I feel like that's fair, but it comes at a cost. I don't know if I'm ready to... Oh, man. I'm, worried to open my eyes.
Luckily, my eyes don't hurt.
It's not dried yet, is it? That's definitely burning.
Oh, have fun with that. gave a buck, and then he says, Soy Boy CP3. Video in the chat, whatever the hell that means. Having fun yet, Patrick?
No, I can't. I can't open the side.
Oh, man. Because you gave me crap 30 seconds ago.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. We got this eye open.
Steve Robertson, thank you so much. You made this night much more tolerable for me. Dude, it looks...
Oh, my God.
It looks so awesome.
No.
It looks so good.
No.
Is one of your eyes glued shut?
No, I'm just keeping it shut because it burns really bad. And it's weird because I wear contacts. I would think the contact would kind of prevent anything from getting up under the eye, but
it grabs the glitter and sticks it in your eye.
I mean, we gotta go out now, right?
Hit the club?
We are immune. I mean, they took our temperature and it came back regular. Would they still let us in? We're good.
Everything's fine. Let's see.
They can't discriminate against this, right?
Oh, man. $100 super chat. Alan says this show is sponsored by KOS, a whole latte gold.
What is KOS? I just saw
So Alan is the guy that we just met who introduced us to the dude with the golden
that's his product.
car, and he has the company KOS, which is, I believe it's plant-based supplements and stuff. Now we're giving him a plug. So go on Amazon right now and check out KOS products. They're the best, even for this gold man. Lee's starring in Jim Carrey's The Mask 2. Smoking. You both. Oh man,
so this
dude,
is it
something's
here.
coming out now.
Sipping on Shroom Boom.
There you go.
Mushroom tea or something. But what's interesting is that this bottle has all these caricatures on it. And he's on this one, right? Or is he on the other one? I think we need to be on this bottle. There needs to be a cartoon of two guys spraying each other in the face with gold. That's got to be the next cartoon. Look, they got Venom on here. All right, I'm finally able to open my eyes without my eyes burning.
Well, now you sprayed me in the face at least 2 times, right? So I get to go another level on you, don't I?
I mean, I think you got it all. Like, you gave up. You were like, oh, I gotta get out of here. And then you about vomited on the carpet.
I just see a few places that I could do better.
I see a lot on you, too.
Let's just say we're both done then. Lee 3PO and Pat 2D2. You two are absurd. Yes.
So, will the featured image get updated, or did you spend enough time getting it perfect?
I mean, I guess this could just be the featured image. Should I?
You gotta do a photo
Let us
shoot?
know what I should do, guys. Should I? Should I change the thumbnail from my incredible Photoshop work to just this, or somebody spraying somebody in the face, or leave it as it is? I don't know.
I feel like a dog that's been neutered, or I feel like, you know, you put the cone on the dog's head and he doesn't know what to do with himself. It's just like, ugh. How easy is this guy? Did that come off?
When you touch it, it's a hard film.
Watch tomorrow. We'll wake up and our skin will be so clear, and this will become the new trend. And people will be
This is not becoming the new trend. Dude, I am just watching glitter float around.
like the newscasters will be like, you do a better newscaster than I will be, but have you heard the new trend about color mist?
The new Instagram challenge, Color Mist Shimmering Food Color Spray Challenge. These young children are spraying themselves in the face with a golden color. They say they look like Lee 3PO, but scientists say it's not the smartest decision.
Yeah. So, Gold Dorado. That's what you need, Gold Dorado.
All right.
All right, we're ready
this
to close
episode
this.
done?
I think this has been done for a while now. I'm
Yeah.
just glad I didn't lose an eye. And you didn't die of hyperventilation.
I wouldn't die in a hyperventilation. I was about to die of lack of oxygen. I couldn't breathe. I mean, and I'm coughing weird stuff up right now. Like,
that might have already been there.
I don't know.
That was from your jiu-jitsu class.
All right, guys. Thank you. Did we miss any other super chats here? Top show. You two make me happy. Glad to hear it. Darth Vader's here. We met at once, droids. I think you meant to say we meet at once. And Trumpster trans. Don't know what that means. All right, guys. I'm not even playing us out. I got to go take a shower. Good night, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.